Hola, it's your girl that's just Charm, and happy Monday. If you don't know what Monday is, well, what Mondays usually are, because I'm not always here. So Mondays are crime and conviction day, where we choose a true crime story and we talk about it. It's usually Jamaican true crime, like involving a Jamaican. Today we're gonna switch it up because it is the last Monday of October and it is my favorite time. It's my spooky ooky time. So we're going to talk about a man that takes the little sexual phrase, make a meal out of me, quite literal. So before we start, y'all, if you guys like true crime, okay, and you like to see a Jamaican presenting it, because I don't see no other people doing what I'm doing, okay, y'all can just click that subscribe button down there and make me feel good. I know y'all watch my shit. Y'all should, you know, be over here having a nice time over here. And if this is not your cup of tea, I have other videos on my channel: reaction, commentary, thoughts, opinions, story times, vlogs, all of them nice is there. Y'all can just go over there and check those out. Now, before we jump into this story, I have to give out a trigger warning. Some of the things that we will be talking about today is very graphic. We're gonna go into a bit of details, so if you want to tap out right here, I understand. I will see you next time, or I will see you on Friday. But if you want to stick around, what's up? Let's jump right in, okay? So we're gonna head all the way over to Germany, where we're going to be talking about Armin Meiwes. And if I butcher the name, forgive me. I am just a simple English girl. Armin was born on December 1st, 1961. Yes, we're talking about another Sag on this series. He had a wonderful and normal childhood up until the age of 8, when his father left him to be raised with his mother. He said that he felt very alone when his family fell apart, and that he had an awful childhood from there on. Now, growing up, Armin would read the story of Hansel and Gretel, and if you guys don't know that story, it's essentially about two little children that got lost in some woods in the forest, and then they were taken in by a cannibalistic witch, and she kind of just fattened them up and feed them. But, you know, the rest of the story isn't important. He got fascinated by this cannibalistic witch. Armin did have two half-siblings, but they were his father's kids, and, you know, with the family breaking up, they had to skedaddle. So he was practically alone, unfortunately. But because of this, he did make up an imaginary brother, and he called him Frank. He would talk to Frank, and he would vent to Frank. He would fantasize about eating the friends that he had so they could be close to him. And when I said eating, I literally mean eating his friends. And I believe that he had this mindset because his mother was controlling and he didn't really have any friends. So the little friends that he did have, he wanted to keep them close to him, especially after what happened with his father. I know it sounds a bit twisted, but personally I find it very sad. As an adult, he worked in the army for a little bit, and then he started to work as a computer technician, but he continued to live with his mother. He was a bisexual man, and he would have sexual relationships with his work colleagues, and he would even pay visits to prostitutes, but he did not have any real relationships. And again, he found it difficult to make friends, to get a relationship. So he went onto the internet to find friends. I'm unsure if his mother knew about his sexuality, which, to be honest, it really doesn't matter in the grand scheme of things, but she definitely did not know about his cannibalistic obsessions. When his mother died in 1999, he could finally fully embrace this fantasy. He stumbled across cannibal chat rooms and ads, and he was very surprised to see that there were other people out there just like himself. So of course he put out an ad, and in this ad he was seeking a well-built, attractive man who would like to be slaughtered and consumed. You see, as much as Armin wanted to eat somebody, even in his fantasies, this person had to be a willing participant. I like that, Armin. Consent. Many people responded to his ad, but they later got cold feet, and Armin was a bit disappointed, but he wasn't going to force anybody to do something that they weren't comfortable doing. Also, he connected with 2 men on the site, but he later canceled because he said that he didn't feel a connection with them. Again, him eating someone was also about him having this person forever, and obviously he would need to have some form of attraction or connection with this person in order for him to feel fulfilled. So Armin was still putting out his ads, still being hopeful, and then came along Brandes. Brandes was a 43-year-old engineer from Berlin. He responded to the ad by sending an email saying, "Dinner or your dinner, I'm offering you the chance to eat me alive." In Brandes, Armin found the perfect participant. They exchanged a few emails, made a few agreements, and the date was set. March 9th, 2001. The 2 men met up at a train station, and Armin drove them back to his mansion. When they got to the house, they went into the living room, and Brandes started to undress, and he said to Armin, "I want you to admire your dinner." Armin said he looked good, he had a sporty figure, and that this was the type of person that he definitely was looking for. They went upstairs to the slaughter room. Now, the slaughter room was originally Armin's mother's room, but he transformed it, and everything was agreed on beforehand. So one of the agreements was that the whole ordeal was to be filmed. Another one of the agreements that was made is that Brandes wanted to experience the ultimate high. He wanted to be eaten alive. So it wouldn't have been a case where Armin kills him and then eats him. He wanted him to consume pieces of him while he was still conscious. Brandes wanted to share in this experience. Before the whole ordeal started, Brandes took about 20 sleeping pills, and he downed a bottle of cough syrup that slowed his breathing and that calmed him down. So it's time for the deed to be done. The camera was set up and they started to record. So one of the agreements was that Armin would bite Brandes' male member off, and he attempted to do that, but that was not happening. So he took a knife and he cut it off. Brandes was screaming, and after about 30 seconds he stopped, and then he said, "Whoa, you know, it doesn't hurt anymore." So another agreement was that they would eat the male part together, which they attempted to do, but Brandes was having a very difficult time. Not only was he, you know, bleeding out, but it was raw, it was tough, and it was chewy. Armin then took the wiener and he fried it with some of Brandes' own fat. He added some salt, some pepper, some garlic, and some wine for that little extra oomph, you know, flavor. Unfortunately, can I say unfortunately, the wiener was burnt and it could not be consumed. So Armin just chopped it up and gave it to his dog. I mean, it's either Armin wasn't a very good cook or Brandes was having a difficult time simply because he took 20 sleeping pills and he was bleeding out. At this time, Brandes was drifting in and out of consciousness, so Armin gave him a bath and he went to read a Star Trek book, and he would check up on him every 15 minutes. But unfortunately, his injuries was not enough to kill him. Armin saw that he was suffering, so he did not know what to do. He hesitated. He went and he prayed. In an interview, he said that he did not know if he was supposed to pray to the devil or pray to God. Like, he was so confused at this point in time, so he decided to ask God for forgiveness. And then he took a knife, and after much hesitation, he then stabbed Brandes in the throat and ended his life, took him out of his misery. So after he did that, he separated his head from his body, and then he hung him upside down from a meat rack that he had in the slaughter room. He then removed Brandes's organs. He cut the body in half. He then washed the body with hot water. So he poured hot water over the body, and then he started to prepare it for storage. Now, the whole ordeal was recorded as agreed, and it was a 4-hour long footage. Now, after the cleanup, Armin then prepared some of Brandon's flesh. He took out his finest plates. He put it on his dinner table. He lit some candles. He got some fine red wine, and he sat there and he ate Brandes. He said that the first bite that he took was very strange, like it gave him this very strange feeling. He has been waiting for this for about 30 years, and he finally got to sit there and have that true inner connection that he's always wanted. He got to, you know, make a meal out of somebody. And he said the meat was a bit like pork, but stronger. But if he was supposed to serve it to someone else, they wouldn't have been able to tell the difference. Over the next 10 months, with the meat stored in his freezer under pizza boxes, he consumed about 44 pounds of the flesh. That's a whole lot of human. During this time, while he still had Brandes in his freezer, still was eating Brandes, he was still searching the internet to find other willing participants. Unfortunately for Armin, a student saw his ads, got suspicious, and alerted the authorities. In December 2002, the police went to the cannibal's residence and it was searched. The videotape was found, and they also found the meat in the fridge. Now, one of the female police officers asked him, you know, what kind of meat is this? And he looked at her and he was just like, well, it's, you know, regular animal meat. And she said to him, well, you know, I'm a housewife, so I know for a fact that this is definitely not animal meat. To be honest, I don't know if she could have told the difference. Maybe she was just being smart because she knew what was happening, you understand? I don't really know if she could have went in there and could tell the difference between human meat and animal meat. Then again, I don't know. I haven't really seen a dead body like that compared to meat, so I wouldn't know, but I'm just assuming that it just looks like meat. Like, it doesn't look like human, you know what I'm saying? He obviously was arrested. It was a very strange case because in Germany there's no laws against cannibalism, that is one, and two, the victim was a willing participant. But either way, it went to trial, and on January 30th, 2004, Armin was found guilty of manslaughter and sentenced to 8.5 years in prison. He admitted his guilt and he expressed remorse. But it doesn't end there. In April 2005, a German court ordered a retrial because they said the act was sexually motivated, and this was proven by the videotape, the 4-hour videotape, right? I'm guessing that they said this because in most sexually motivated crimes, the perpetrator do keep some form of memorabilia, whether it be something from the victim or they record it. Even though both men agreed to record it, also as it relates to the tape, they locked that shit up real quick. Like they watched it and it was very disturbing, so they locked it up. Anyways, on May 10th, 2006, Armin was found guilty of murder and he was sentenced to life in prison. Now, Armin is a vegetarian and he actually deters people from acting on their cannibalist instincts. He's saying that he should not have done it, and he now realizes that what he did was wrong, right? He is a model prisoner. The prison guards have only good things to say about him. Like, he encourages people to go to church in the prison. He doesn't give any problems. They literally say that they could leave the prison door open for a whole day and he would not try to escape or whatever. He's so polite and he's so friendly and he's a joyous prisoner. So in 2017, he actually applied for probation, but that was denied. Present day, Armin is 58 and he actually is granted day trips around Germany. He's given a pair of sunglasses and a hat to kind of conceal his identity. And then 2 guards go out on the road with him and they drive to another state. Do they have states in Germany? Or another parish or another town. So he can walk up and down and he can sit in the park and just enjoy the fresh air. So he gets the privilege to do all of that. Armin did an interview with 60 Minutes Australia. I will be linking that below in my description box and of course with my other sources if you guys want to read up on that yourselves. There's also multiple movies inspired by Armin. Now it is time for my thoughts, and y'all, I am so conflicted, and this is why I'm so conflicted about it, because the murder was consensual. It's not like he was like a Jeffrey Dahmer type of guy, just go out there and lick somebody in them head and just drag them back, tie them up and, you know, start feasting on them. He didn't do that. It was consensual, and I think that kind of moral standing for me kind of has me conflicted. Yep, it has me conflicted. That has me thinking, what if someone has like an incurable disease and they decide to ask their spouse to off them, like, you know, okay, just take me out, and, you know, them set up the agreement and everything. Would this person be arrested even though this person like wanted to die? Because if you commit suicide, like, you are not charged. Like, nobody is charged when someone commits suicide. So why is it a case where if I assist you to kill yourself, the repercussions then fall on me? You know what I'm saying? Like, it's strange, and it has me thinking, like, do I feel as if he should have gotten life in prison? No. Do I think that he should have gotten some prison time? I'm still on the fence about that. To be honest, the 8.5 years sounds sufficient in my mind, you know. And I was having this conversation with a friend of mine the other day, and it's like, they were saying, oh, you know, it's wrong to eat people. And I'm like, yeah, it's wrong to eat people, but there's no law against it. And then he's like, it's wrong to kill people. I'm like, yeah, but it's like assisted murder. Is that such a thing? That sounds familiar in my brain. I think I'm going a bit off the rails right now trying to make sense of my point. He wasn't a violent person to begin with. You know what I'm saying? I know that you have thoughts on this case and I want to hear them in the comment section down below. But that is all I have for you guys today. Thank you so much for joining me for another crime and conviction. I have my social media links down below in the description box. I also have links to my sources. As per usual, remember to be a beautiful soul, not just a gorgeous face. And until the weekend, guys, make sure that when I have one wonderful week. Mwah! Love y'all. Stay blessed, stay safe, and bye. I'm all over the place. Like, I don't know what to think. Yeah, I really don't.